Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we're still reading how to memorize the Holy Quran, and we're looking at 6 of the 19 basic rules today. Yesterday we touched briefly on rule 1, which is regarding intention. We're going to look at it again today. So in the first instance, what I've done is that I've given a summary of the 6 rules. Firstly, it's about orienting our heart to Allah, memorizing for the sake of Allah SWT. Starting young is an advantage. We'll look at that later. The best time to memorize is pre-dawn. The best place to memorize is the mosque. To read sonorously, which is not to read silently, to read with a heard voice. And the sixth one would be to restrict ourselves to one mushaf. So the first rule about intention is that we do always need to check our heart and be aware of these signs that we may not be doing it for Allah SWT. The 3 examples given in the book is that you're lazy when you're alone, you're only efficient when there's company, and you increase your work when you're praised. So the hadith that everybody knows, innamal a'malu binniyat, actions are judged by the niyat. So how we can apply this rule is that we can every day or frequently do a renewal of our intention. For example, as I said, to memorize the Quran lillahi ta'ala, only when we are sincere that we will get true rewards and benefit. The second rule is, as I said, the author suggests that 5 years is the best age to start. But what if we've missed that chance? I definitely am learning and trying to memorize at a very late stage in my life, and so does it mean that we can't do it? Here I've mentioned a hadith, a very famous hadith about how we have to take advantage of 5 before 5, and one of them is that our youth before our old age. Whether you're young or whether you're old, start now. I think that's the key learning that I take away from this. There are benefits in memorizing early at a young age, but it's not impossible to be memorizing at a later stage. So what can we do? Rule number 3 is that we choose a fitting time. Pre-dawn is best. So at our age, what we can do is we can try and use these helpful tips and guidance given by the Quran. In Surah Al-Muzammil, worship in the night is more impactful and suitable for recitation. So when we wake up for tahajjud, we can actually use a portion of that time to memorize the Quran. And this is how we apply rule number 3. But if we can't do that, we find a time that actually helps us to memorize. The 4th rule is regarding the best place to memorize. The suggestion in the book is that the mosque is the best place, because in the mosque we make a conscious effort to guard our tongue, to guard our eyes, and to also guard our ears. But if we can't do that, in your house, try and find a place where you can memorize without any distractions. The book is very interesting because it mentions that don't be in a park where there are trees, birds chirping, people are playing around in the park. You will be distracted. If you can confine yourself to a restricted place, blank walls, that's actually the best for you to focus your attention. Rule number 5 is where we read aloud. Read with a lovely tone, with tajweed, and with a heard voice, because that stabilizes the verses in the memory. Don't be embarrassed. I personally do this because I don't memorize in a group. I memorize alone. I do have a strong voice where I can hear the words. And in this book, there's a reference to one of the authors who said that when you when you can hear the words, it actually stabilizes and helps you retain the verses in your memory. The last rule, of course, is something that I also personally believe in, because we want to imprint the memory of the words that we are looking at in our mind, and so we always use the same mushaf. I use the Madani mushaf, and so when we stick to the mushaf, it helps us remember, recall where the position of the ayat is, and it really helps us with our memorization. So we'll continue again the next time with the remaining rules. We'll try and do another 6. InsyaAllah.